just let the audience know a little bit about yourself and a little bit about what this day is about, Wrongful Conviction Day.
Well, today is the 5th annual Wrongful Conviction Day, but it's the 2nd annual for International Wrongful Conviction Day. And basically, it's sad that we actually have a day that we have to show like some type of solidarity to people who's been wrongfully convicted. The way I play a part in it is that I have a husband that's wrongfully convicted. So it touches home, and being the fact that he's incarcerated as we speak, it's still hard. It's still hard for our family. Still hard for his family. So that's why I'm here.
How is he holding up then?
21 months left before he goes see the board.
Okay.
So 21 months he goes see the board, and it's either yay or nay. They tell him.
And he's been in how long?
20 years.
That's rough.
Yes.
How do you cope? How do you every day?
It's hard, but at the same time, I have a support group. Mm-hmm. So I have other women who are facing the same situation as me as far as their husband being incarcerated.
Okay.
So it's easier that we bonded, because it's like we don't judge each other.
Right.
No matter if their husband is innocent or guilty, mm-hmm. but it's just that we have that support group that we can talk to each other about anything.
Do you ever get any negativity from outsiders telling you, well, how could you marry somebody in there? Do you ever get that a lot?
Of course. Yeah. Next month I'm going to celebrate my 11th year anniversary. We've been married 11 years, and mm-hmm. throughout those years you have people like, oh, you're a nice looking young woman, you could be out there and be happy. How do you know I'm not happy?
Right.
So yeah. I am happy. So it's like, I had actually someone that I thought was my friend was trying to set me up on a date. I'm like, how could you do that?
Set you up on a date?
Set me up like, I know this really nice guy. And I'm like, no, what are you doing?
You're married.
I'm married.
Yeah.
But it's like they feel like this is not a real marriage. This is a real marriage. Mm-hmm. We got married. We love each other. And though he's on the other side of the wall, mm-hmm. I'm still there to be there to support him. Mm-hmm. And he's done, even though he's in there, he's done a lot for me spiritually, mentally. Because it's like if I see someone that's in that situation and still could keep his back straight
right.
and head high, like what am I worried about what's going on out here? Right.
Yeah.
Because he got it worse in there.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's really tough, but
is it tough holidays?
Oh my gosh, holidays, that's what we call the state of depression.
I would assume,
it's like Christmas. And you know what actually starts from spring. Springtime, when everything is, all the snow is gone and everybody's going out with their family. They're going to, going to the park or whatever. And then the summertime comes, and then boom, as soon as the summer's over, you already see you're at the store and you're like, okay, they already have Christmas So it's like around that time, it's
very depressing.
Very depressing. Very
Can
depressing.
Imagine.
And just remind everybody, this is Mrs. Michelle Archer. She's part of the Wrongful Conviction movement. Being, she mentioned earlier today, it's just Wrongful Conviction Day. And, for everybody out there, just do the math in your head. Her husband has been in prison, wrongfully for 20 years, and she's going to celebrate her 11th year anniversary. So you actually decided to, after you got to know him and he was, arrested, to still go forward and get married while he was in prison and still support him throughout the entire process. So, we applaud you for that. I know it's, Miss Stacy, mentioned it, and it's definitely got to be a difficult thing to go through. But now dealing with just the whole concept of wrongful conviction, because, people get convicted of things and then everybody's always like, free this one, free that one, mm-hmm. free Boujou, free Cartel, even though the evidence was there. Free this one, free.
Boujou was entrapment, so we're not going to go there. That was entrapment.
But how does the whole concept of wrongful conviction separate itself from that whole concept of everybody just wants everybody free? Because I know with the movement, it's like there's specifics about it.
It starts straight from the bottom. And I would say it starts from the police. It starts from, trying to make sure the person that they get is found guilty. They hide evidence. The prosecutors are in on it. The judges are in on it. So it's like we have to fix the system, and being that when I go see my husband, you see more of us in there. Some of us are, wondering why is there so much of our people in prison? Because we don't have the resources. We don't have the money. We don't have money to bail people out. Somebody just did something that was heinous, and still because they have the resources, they're able to go out on bond.
Because they have the money.
They have the money. Yeah. And it's like, it's so sad, for people to be in prison and not able to have the support. And I think from the beginning, it starts from the police officers that's being corrupt, the prosecutorial misconduct. It starts all the way from the bottom. And for us to fix that, we have to vote. We have to register to vote. We have to do something. We can't just go out and vote around the time when it's the general election, the local elections, the judges, the prosecutors, the DAs.
Right.
These are the people that's getting elected and basically sending our people to prison for something they didn't do.
So with the process of getting somebody out that's wrongfully convicted, what goes behind that? Because I know, like I said, everybody goes in and everybody's family and friends wants them out.
Mm-hmm.
But if you know that somebody's wrongfully convicted and there's evidence to prove that someone was wrongfully convicted, what is the process in order to get somebody out?
The process is tough. It's just it's the support. You just need the support. You have one person to believe in you. You are able to basically try to get letters. You send out letters to lawyers, law firms, anything to help you start that process. Because and his family too. Get the word out, because there's so many people in there that claim their innocence, but later on you find out they're not actually innocent, but it's just more of a technicality type situation. But at the same time, it's just to get a lawyer. For me to get a lawyer for my husband, I actually was watching Dateline. It was someone else that was incarcerated, and I just contacted the lawyer, sending him the information about what my husband, his situation, and in 2 days. I got I got a call from his office, and they said, we'll take your case pro bono. And I literally cried. Yeah. I couldn't believe it, and you just have to keep going. You just have to let everybody know the situation. And I don't know, it's a hard battle.
So in regards to your husband's case, is it evidence? Is it a witness maybe that could kind of speed up the process with him?
It's the witness, because the witness lied. He perjured himself on the stand. Right. And it took years, and I mean years of fighting with the district attorney's office to get the evidence that we need to prove his innocence. Okay. And yet it's until I got a lawyer, which was 6 years after we've been married, that's when actually they took us seriously. Right. Because if you don't have a lawyer, they're not going to take you seriously. And some, again, he took my case pro bono, but there's some families that don't have that, that luck to be able to get a lawyer.
And lawyers are very expensive.
Oh, the lawyer that we really need, really need, he wants $75,000. If I had $75,000,
that's cheap.
75, and that's just to look at his paperwork. Yeah. And that's a retainer. Retainer is just
sometimes it's
a deposit. That's just a deposit, because after he finishes $75,000, he's gonna send you another bill. This was just a down payment. So they're very expensive, and then for my husband to be in the SVU, well, not SVU, I'm saying SVU, but in the CRU, it's the Conviction Review Unit. Well, they changed it to Integrity Unit. It's going on 5 years.
Yeah.
5 years. And we have the evidence because there was one witness who lied against my husband and said that he seen my husband pull the trigger and it was a lie. Forensic evidence. We had the forensic.
So his prints aren't on the gun?
They didn't have no gun. They just, somebody got shot. That's their evidence right there.
Right.
The witness said my husband jumped in front of the car and shot at his friend.
Right.
And yet he's still there.
And there's no other witnesses or anything?
There's a lot of witnesses. We have testimony that after the fact that we found out that they spoke to the private investigator for my husband's case. And yet they came forward years later. It's until by accident, my mother-in-law was in the courtroom and seen the private investigator from years before. And he like just not sure, oh, so how's your son doing? Because he knew. He spoke to like 7 witnesses and said he was in the alley. He wasn't even there, but yet it fell on deaf ears.
So did you hire your own private investigator or was this one through the lawyer?
Actually, before I met the lawyer, before I contacted the lawyer, I actually called that same private investigator. Like after all those years, from 98, I contacted him and he actually did that for me pro bono. He actually went back to speak to the witness, and yet he's still in 2004. No, that's sorry, not 2004. 2004, 2005. He still says my husband is guilty. He's like he will go to the board if he can, the parole board, and tell them not to let him go. And then, but he didn't tell nobody that he got paid to testify. And we found that through the lawyer because we knew that it was there. This situation is so like,
but
you know,
this is what happens.
Yeah, that's the thing that happen. They do stuff under the table. And these are the same prosecutors that go to work together every day, see each other in passing, go to the bars and drink. You know, and
it's all business,
right?
It's all business, and it's all business in the prison too.
Yeah, because
they're making money. If you see the stuff that they do in there, it's just disgusting. I actually overheard a CEO said just recently. You don't mind if I curse there?
No, you can't curse.
Yeah,
huh?
You can't.
Okay,
you can edit yourself.
I won't curse. Well, he said, and I quote, "Where can I get a job where I can sit down and do not a effing thing for $60,000 a year? I'm killing them with overtime." You know how many times I've seen him on the visit floor sleeping? People sitting on a watchtower sleeping. Like,
I have a friend who works in one of the prisons, and she said that
they don't do nothing, and when they actually do their job, they get really upset. And one CEO said to my husband, "I didn't come here to work. I didn't come here."
Yeah. No, that's the truth. I've heard that too. Yeah.
Like, what did you there? Basically, you're babysitting. Honestly, you know.
And they get paid very well.
And they get paid very well, just on OT.
And they milk the overtime too.
They milk the overtime. The system is just corrupt. Okay, that's all it is. Bottom line is corrupt. Trying to figure out if I have someone that would want us to call. Raymond Santana.
Okay, yeah, like you have the number 718.
Okay.
Just give them the number 718-393-5385.
Okay.
So once again, we're talking to Mrs. Michelle Bastien-Archer. You know, this is Wrongful Conviction Day, and you know, she was speaking about her husband who was wrongfully convicted, and she was just speaking about her process. You know, that's what I was trying to just get in the minds of the people, because even though you have evidence that the person was wrongfully convicted, it's not like there's a place you could just go to and say, here's the evidence to show that this person wasn't guilty, and they just let them out. You know, there's a whole process. You know, like you mentioned, you're fighting this for years, even after all of the evidence. There's still a process that you have to go through. You know, it's every now and then that we hear about somebody, being released. You know, whether because especially in this day and age with DNA testing, they get to release prisoners, but there's still a process. It's not like today they found out they were not guilty and then tomorrow they're free.
It's a
process.
Yeah.
So
some people, I'm sorry, but some people actually do their whole entire bid, 25 years,
and then
had to show that they were innocent. And
that's right.
Johnny Capier, who's a good friend of mine, He just got exonerated last year or 2 years ago, but he did the entire 25 years, 6 days or whatever. He count the exact time.
And you can't get that time back.
You can't get that time
Even
back.
if people do sue and they get money. One of the most popular cases that we know of, especially in New York City, is the Central Park 5 situation, which we'll be getting to, shortly. But, that was the case that pretty much that got national attention in regards to people being wrongfully convicted. And, it wasn't until years later where they got off. But, you talk about years of a person's life where they know that they didn't do something. And that takes a toll on some people. Some people can get through it, some people can't. So even if, people say, yeah, you go through it, you sue, you get the money, but,
you can't get back your time.
You can't get back your time, your family.
Some people, they miss their kids growing up. Some people, their parents pass away. All kind of things happen, and you can't get that back.
My husband's father passed away just 2 years ago. Actually, this year made it 3 years ago. And it's like, even with that situation, the first time the DA who's handling my husband's case was coming to see my husband, because it's either they pull him out of the facility to take him to Rikers to get interviewed by the integrity unit, but she actually made the trip. So it was almost like a balance between going to your dad's funeral and knowing that you have a chance of going home.
Right.
And mentally, how do you prepare yourself to even make that decision? But
you shouldn't have to.
You shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to. And birthdays, graduations, around this time, this is a lot of the men and the wives, the moms, we all have this deep depression. We can't be with our sons, we can't be with our husbands on a special occasion. Our anniversary, I gotta celebrate my anniversary in the prison, going to the vending machine. I'm supposed to be going somewhere in Hawaii or somewhere, traveling,
or just be home,
or something, But no, I have to, take off my shoes, take off my belt, and go through the mag, and make sure that I'm okay to go inside. Make sure that my clothes is appropriate. It's crazy.
So every time you go, you get a full.
You have to, you have to make sure you clear the mag, and so no underwire bra. Otherwise, now you're gonna go inside the bathroom and take it off and then put a smock on and hand them.
It gets that invasive.
Yes.
Because they want to make sure nobody's bringing anything
stuff.
in. Yeah.
And I mean, people, but you know what? It's a whole nother topic, but people make them do that because they do other things. People do smuggle stuff, but most of the time, it's not even the families. It's the COs.
Right.
So once again, we're talking to Mrs. Michelle Archer, talking about wrongful convictions, and she's talking about her situation and just the overall scenario.
The Gallery every Tuesday. Miss Stacy, Nicole Renee, and Badman Benny.